Pizza Power! In 1994, a year after the release of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, TMNT creators Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird began conceptual work on what would have been the fourth TMNT film. According to Laird, the studio requested the duo to come up with potential ideas, which led Laird and Eastman to conceptualize a story revolving around the Turtles and Splinter experiencing unexpected secondary mutations, which would have given them new powers and abilities. Not much else is known about the film's production, but an advertisement in a Playmates Toys catalog claimed that the film would have been released during the holiday season in 1996. And merchandise for the film was being produced as part of a multi-million-dollar promotional campaign. The film was in and out of development hell for several years, until eventually the film got cancelled for unknown reasons. The most popular theories being due to the general poor reception of the third film and or the cost to produce new costumes and effects for the Turtles' new forms would have been too expensive. Damn! Especially without the help of the Jim Henson's Creature Shop, who left the franchise after the second film. On May 11, 2012, 3 different drafts of the film's script were sold on an online auction. As of now, none of the scripts have been made public. Little is known about the film's actual plot. However, some snippets of the plot have been revealed throughout the years. The main one being that the Turtles and Master Splinter are experiencing further mutations, as well as potentially having a darker tone. Leonardo would have been given the ability to morph his skin into an impenetrable chrome-like surface. Raphael would have taken a more monstrous form with long claws and sharp teeth. Donatello would have developed telepathic powers, which would also cause him to have poor eyesight. And Michelangelo would have been able to transform into a more human-like appearance. Splinter also would have developed a second mutation, becoming a large super rat. Shredder and the Foot played a role in the film as well, with Shredder experiencing new mutations whilst trying to rebuild the Foot Clan. The film also featured the addition of a new turtle character named Kirby, after famous comic book artist Jack Kirby. Kirby had an undisclosed role in the film. Whether or not he would have served as a friend or foe to the main Turtles is currently unknown. There are some pieces of concept art where Kirby isn't even a turtle at all, appearing to be either an alien or a severely deformed mutant. And according to the Playmates catalog page, the film might have featured a plot involving an alternate post-apocalyptic dimension. This is supported by certain pieces of concept art with new variations of known characters such as Evil April and Casey. Though it was never fully produced, the film's influence can still be seen throughout the franchise to this day. The idea of the main Turtles experiencing further mutations was reused for the final 2 seasons of the original animated series, though only the Raptor Raft design was used for all 4 Turtles. The next mutation subtitle was reused for the short-lived live-action Saban TV series, as well as the idea of adding a 5th Turtle character, Venus de Milo. Raptor Raft became the inspiration behind the game Raft plot point in Volume 4 of the Mirage TMNT comic series. Donatello's mutation is believed to have been the inspiration for his design in the Michael Bay films.
Oh my gosh, they have guns!
The film's concepts even went to inspire another attempt at a live-action film in 2001, which also ended being scrapped in favor of the 2007 TMNT animated film. The film's director Steve Barron originally wanted Sex Pistols manager Malcolm McLaren to compose the score to the film, even going as far to add his song House of the Blue Dannaby to the film's trailer.
Awesome!
However, a Fish Called Wanda composer John Duprez was brought in at the last minute, and by that point Barron was no longer involved with post-production. A soundtrack album for the film was released just 2 weeks before the film came out, and 4 tracks from Duprez's score were included on the album. The rest of the soundtrack had escaped any sort of release. Fans have tried for decades to find the rest of the score, but only low-quality rips from the DVD soundtrack were the only ways fans could listen to the soundtrack. By the early 2010s, bootlegs of the score began to emerge online. It wasn't until October 15, 2018 when it was announced that Duprez's complete score for the film would finally get a release by Waxworks Records on October 19th. Although the score has been out of stock for years, all 24 tracks would later be uploaded by Duprez's official YouTube channel in January 2020. The score can now be heard in its entirety online. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures was a comic book series published by Archie Comics from August 1988 to October 1995. The comic ended with issue 72, as well as a 3-part miniseries called Year of the Turtle. The final 2 issues were a story about how the turtles got their weapons. However, this was not the plot originally intended by the creators. What they were planning instead of issues 71-75 was an arc called The Forever War. This was a story arc that featured the return of the future turtles and the final battle with Shredder. When the comic was canned, so was the story despite attempts to release it. As stated before, this story arc would bring back the future turtles, who would team up with the present turtles. This would also feature the defeat of Shredder. The arc would also bring back several other characters from the comic's run, including Galani, Ninjara, Scumbug, Rat King, and Worm. The comic was known for having darker stories when compared to most forms of TMNT media at the time. This caused conflicts with Steve Murphy and editor-in-chief Victor Gorelick and publisher Michael Slipaket, who thought that the adult themes were going too far. According to Murphy, one of the reasons the story arc was cancelled was Victor and Michael wanted to know where the book was going with issue 71, and when I told them we would be revisiting the future, the Greenhouse Earth future, another notion which freaked them out for a 5-issue story arc featuring the return of Shredder, they popped their toupees and said they wanted me off the book. Another factor was that for years, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures had been the only TMNT comic printed in color. However, with Mirage Volume 2 also being printed in color, this left Archie Comics feeling threatened. After Murphy left, the comic continued for 2 more issues before the series was cancelled. Only 6 pages of the Forever War were ever released to the public. In 2005, Murphy stated that the arc would be released by that year's end, but it never was. When Murphy was asked again, he changed the date to 2007. 2007 ended without the arc being released as well. Then in 2009, the arc was finally settled to be released for the 25th anniversary. However, when Nickelodeon bought out the TMNT franchise, the release was cancelled. It's now currently unknown if the comic book arc will ever be released, and it's unknown how much art was completed for it before being cancelled. TMNT 2K3 is an American animated series that aired on Foxbox, later renamed 4Kids TV, from 2003 to 2009. It was the second animated television show based on the Mirage comic book series of the same name and is known for its much darker tone, including the infamous banned episode Insane in the Membrane. But there is another episode titled Nightmares Recycled that was considered so dark that it was never completed. The basic plot of the episode involves Raphael, Donatello, Casey Jones, and April O'Neil encountering the Garbage Man, a minor villain who only appeared in 2 other episodes. They are taken to the Garbage Man's recycle world and later encounter Hun, who isn't thrilled to reveal that he and the Garbage Man were once conjoined twins. According to the script, Hun eventually hired a shady back alley surgeon to separate them, after which he threw Garbage Man, the smaller, much weaker twin, into a dumpster, quite literally discarding him as garbage. When Garbage Man's battle with the heroes ended in him being drowned in a vat of acid, Hun likewise calmly watches it happen and later allows the Turtles to escape the Foot Clan as a reward for helping him rid of himself of his twin once and for all. Animation of the episode had begun by the time the plug was pulled. 4Kids considered the subject matter much too intense for a children's program. Peter Laird later also criticized the script on his blog, in particular Hun's utterly callous rejection of his brother, and offered a more sympathetic scenario. An attempt to rewrite the script in line with Lard's suggestions ultimately failed, and the episode was scrapped for good. While plot summaries and some production materials are available, none of the multiple drafts of the episode script had ever been released. It is possible that some animation may have survived, but this is considered unlikely, given the complete rejection of the plot by both the show's producers and the TMNT creators alike.